Dodgers and Giants coming up at 7 o'clock. There's Max Muncy working out at the hot corner. He has a .931 career OPS against the rival Giants. He just loves facing San Francisco. He'll be batting 6th tonight against Landon Roop. Now, Emmett Sheehan is here with the Dodgers. He had Tommy John surgery just 13 months ago. He's made 4 minor league rehab starts. When might we see his return to the big league mound? For more on that, let's head back inside the stadium. Kirsten joins us live with the latest on Emmett Sheehan. Hi there, Kirsten.
Hi, Don. Well, the good thing is that he's here in the clubhouse, so that typically means his return to the big league mound is likely going to be pretty soon. Dave Roberts talked about what he expects from Emmett Sheehan over the next few days.
He's here. He's still on rehab. So he's going to throw a pen, I think, tomorrow. And then if all goes well, you know, there's an opportunity for him to be activated. So we'll see, and we'll keep kicking the can until he throws his pen.
If he does come back to be part of the rotation, what does that mean as far as your plans for Kasperius? Would it turn into a 6-man rotation situation?
That is a good question. I don't think that would be the case. I think there's still room for both potentially.
Has this stuff held up better than you guys were anticipating?
All the kind of the reports from that point to now have just been really positive every time out. And yeah, he's been holding his stuff. He'll be a nice infusion if it works out.
Where do you think, or how much kind of length do you think he can reasonably provide in his next start, just given where he was in his previous rehab start?
I think the next one would be 4 and 60. I think that's kind of 4 and 60, 65, something like that is fair.
So Emmett Sheehan had his last rehab outing, or potentially his last rehab outing, about 2 days ago, in which he was able to get into a 3 1/3 innings pitch. The stuff wasn't necessarily where he was hoping it would be. The results weren't ideal, but he has continued to progress and at least building up and staying healthy. He's come in more physical this year. He even talked to me during spring training saying that that was a big emphasis for him during this rehab and kind of building back up and making sure that not only his elbow and body was in a good spot, but kind of the overall health. And he was adamant that he was determined to get back to the big league mound, hopefully by the middle of the summer this year. So hopefully he can be able to just do that. So it depends on how things go with the bullpen tomorrow. If all things go well, we could potentially be seeing his next outing being with the big league club guys.
All right, and possibly in that series coming up against the Padres. Kirsten, thank you very much. Going back to the offense right now, Teoscar Hernandez was recently mired in a 2 for 35 funk. Jerry just hadn't looked the same since coming back from the groin injury, but then he hits a long home run to center field in San Diego, hits an opposite field home run last night. Are we starting to see Teoscar be Teoscar again?
I think so, because anytime, and Nomar was one of the best I've ever seen do this, trusting your hands. Anytime you've been injured and you come back injury, sometimes in the back of your mind, you may not trust your natural ability.
Home runs. It's one thing to hit the home run, right? But that's another thing when you hit it to center field, then you hit it to right field. That's when you know 2 things are right. You know, your timing is one, and that your swing is where it needs to be. He talks about too, where if I'm going the other way more and I'm driving it, he likes where you're at, because we always talk about as hitters, the hardest thing to do is really kind of slow down at this level, is really try to slow yourself down. You find yourself out in front, you find yourself trying to really, you feel like you're going to be beaten, try to catch up on that fastball, so then you're susceptible to the off speed. But when you know that, okay, I'm staying behind it, or even if I'm late, even if you feel like you're late and you hit a fastball over into the opposite dugout or the first base dugout, you're still saying, listen, I can speed up. That's an easy fix compared to the other way around. And I also like the fact that him driving the ball the other way, as you mentioned, Jerry, at night, it also lets you know, even with the groin, that you still have power, that you don't have to add more to it. You don't have to get something extra. The power is there. It hasn't left you. So hopefully this is a sign of more to come.
All right, and as you guys know, I mean, 162-game season, you're going to have your ups and your downs. Teoscar hopefully getting out of his downs. But you have a couple of other guys, Freddie Freeman, who hit .410 in the month of May. Shohei Ohtani was the National League Player of the Month in May, tied a franchise record with 15 home runs in a calendar month, Nomar. But here in June, those 2 guys have 1 home run combined and 5 RBIs.
Yeah, well, Jerry will say they're due. And he's not wrong, right? And listen, these guys we're talking about, it's just, here we are. We're just, 12 games or so in June, and guys go through. It's 162, you just mentioned. It's a long season. This is nothing. But obviously it's magnified because these guys, seem like they're hitting all the time. Well, guess what? I'm not too worried about these two guys because eventually it's going to turn around. By the end of June, guess what? The rest of them, they can hit over 400. It's not out of the question, and they can be hitting just home runs out of the ballpark. We heard Freddie Freeman talk about he doesn't like his swing. And everybody's like, well, you're hitting 350 and you don't like your swing? Well, yeah. I mean, you've seen what he's done last quarter. Because he expects so much more. He knows his swing so well that he's like, listen, it is off and I need to be better, and I'm trying to find it to have that confidence. But I'm also not worried about Freddie Freeman or Shohei Ohtani.
Both these guys are going to have 700 plus plate appearances. When you have those many plate appearances, you're going to have 15, 25, 35 at-bats where it's just not going to be there. That's just baseball. It's going to happen. So these guys aren't going to hit 450. They're not going to hit 550. They'll be around 300. Freddie Freeman will probably be around 350 when it's all said and done. I ain't worried about these guys. They work extremely hard. One swing can change their week, their month. Again, these guys are tireless workers. They'll be there.
Just a little bit more magnified when it is those two superstars. That's why the Dodgers are 22nd in baseball in runs scored here in the month of June. We're getting closer to first pitch at Dodger Stadium. It was the 11th sellout of the year last night. We were expecting more of the same tonight. In fact, the Dodgers are first in attendance in all of Major League Baseball. More than 1.7 million fans already through the gates this year. Plus, the Dodgers and Giants tied for first in the NL West with the Padres right behind them. Is this division race going to go down to the wire in 2025? Time to call your shot, brought to you by Southern California Toyota. Nomar, you've been scorching hot with this. Last night, you called Teoscar Hernandez. He went deep, so you are first tonight.
You know, we're looking up and down this lineup. I hope everybody's hot today. Everybody, you know, only 2 hits yesterday. It's time for this whole lineup to get on the board. But I think today, Andy Pages has a big day.
I love that call shot. You know, we talked about him earlier. We know he had a monster May. Okay, off to a bit of a slow start in June. I think he has a monster night. The big show, big fly.
All right, well, one thing I noticed is Landon Roop of the Giants, who the Dodgers haven't seen all that much last year and haven't seen him yet this year, obviously, but he has reverse splits. 290 right-handed hitters are hitting against Landon Roop, so I'm taking a right-hander in Mookie Betts to have a big night against the rival Giants. We're getting closer to first pitch here at Dodger Stadium. Hideo Nomo, on this date in 1995, struck out 16 Pirates in an 8-5 win. If Kersh can add just one more to that total, he'll reach 3,000 for his career tonight. That's right, 17 strikeouts away to witness history for Kersh. Access
here at Blue Heaven on Earth, the future Hall of Famer trying to make it back-to-back wins for the Dodgers and give them a much-needed win and a lift on this 10-game homestand. Up in the booth, next to the Bulldog Oral Hershiser, I'm Steven Nelson. Kirsten Watson is down next to the Dodger dugout as well. But as you look at this one, Oral, now tied atop the division are these two longtime arch rivals. The last time the Dodgers didn't have at least a share of first place in the division was the 10th of May.
We always talk about the Dodgers not being ready for the playoffs because they've won the division by so much. Well, it's very tight right now, and they're getting that callus built. Behind us, Joe Kelly is getting his championship ring, and it reminds me of the electricity that'll be in this ballpark in October. Great to see Joe Kelly, but really even better to have Clayton Kershaw on the mound tonight.
Oh, 100%. As Clayton Kershaw continues to be the guy that the Dodgers turn to, no matter how old he gets or how long in the tooth he is, they're always looking at number 22. And last time we saw him in St. Louis, Oral, he was vintage.
Yeah, he created all the windows that you want to throw, as far as the fastball window, to the slider window, to the curveball window. And if he executes, it doesn't matter how old he is or what age he is. And the fact that he is going for 3,000 strikeouts, that pace picked up in that last outing was 7. So the quicker he gets to 3,000, I think the more he's going to be in the W column.
A huge step forward his last outing, now just 17 shy of that 3,000 marker. For more on the pursuit of 3K for Kirsten Watson.
Yeah, Steven, the big question is who is counting, because we know all of us are, with 17 left to 3,000 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. When you talk to Clayton himself and you ask him about it, he says he's not trying to pay too much attention to the numbers, but some of his teammates, and in specific Freddie Freeman, he is keeping count. He actually is telling Clayton Kershaw after every outing what number he's at. So he said, looked at me in the eyes today, he said 17, and I'll check in with him after the game, guys.
So if you lose count, just ask Freddie Freeman. You don't need to ask who's throwing out the first pitch. It's Clayton Kershaw to Jung-Hoo Lee. when we come back on Sportsnet LA. By your Southern California helpful Honda dealers. It's a lineup that's going to try and bounce back after a silent Friday night in the series opener. Otani, Betts, and Freeman the first three. Will Smith will clean up. Teoscar Hernandez was the only bat to register a hit last night. He bats fifth in right field. Max Muncy at third. Andy Pajes in center. Michael Conforto at left. And Ha-Seong Kim rounds things out at second base. It's the young right-hander Landon Roop toed the slab for his 14th start of the year. His first pitch gets a check swing, but Otani held up. StatCast 3D is powered by Google Cloud.
The curveball has been outstanding, and so has the changeup. The sinker has gotten hit around, but he really looks for weak contact. He was a big-time strikeout pitcher in the minors, but since being in the big leagues for the last year or so, he is more of a weak contact guy with less than a strikeout an inning now.
Otani trying to get going. Ay, 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 sir. Strike one called.
The breaking ball, and he backdoors it this time.
This 2-1 is clobbered to right field. Way back and way gone. Home run 24 for Otani. His seventh leadoff blast, and the Dodgers strike first.
Since his bat has cooled off, it's because the calendar turned to June. But all of a sudden, a guy who's hitting .229 in June strikes the ball like it's back in May. That is so good to see. The top of this lineup needs to get going.
Strike one to Mookie Betts. The Dodgers scoring in the first inning. It's been a rare sight of late. Coming into tonight, they'd scored in the first just one time the last 9 games. Otani says, I'm going to put a stop to that. Al Betts pulls one down the left field line. It hooks foul, though.
Shohei picked on a fastball. Got a tough call on a breaking ball away and didn't let that bother him. Locked right back in, hit the heater.
Snaps a career-long home run drought of 10 games. Also happened back May to June in 2018. With a 6-4-3 double play to finish the first, but it started with a bang. Shohei Otani gives the Dodgers the early lead. Clayton Kershaw back to work when we come back.